Okay, so guys, today we will be doing this lab, which is 2FA bypass using brute force, and it is from the parts figure. Alright, so this is an expert level lab, and I will try my best to compress it for beginner level. Alright, I will explain my thought process, why we did something and what we are going to do. So what does it say is that this lab 2FA authentication is vulnerable to the brute forcing, and we already have obtained the Carlos and Montoya victim credentials, and now we need to access that victim's account page, right? So we have password Carlos Montoya. So let's get started. I have fired up my burp suite. I'm in the basement, so internet is actually very slow, and also the parts figure lab launch is always takes time, right? Okay, very good pose. Swipe left please. Yep, my account, we already have our victim credential, which is Carlos and Montoya. So let's log in. So it is asking for the 2FA code, and which is sending it to the email of Carlos, right? Whatever email Carlos have verified, that's where the password is going, and we can try to brute force it like we did previously. So let's say it is incorrect security code. Well, that's fine. Let's start our burp suite. Let's send 1 2 3 4 burp suite login. Okay, we have our request. We will send it to the intruder and forward. Let's just turn off the intercept. Okay, so what just happened is that we are back to the login page, right? So that means website has security prevention, which is if we enter consecutive 2 wrong tries, then it sends back us to the login page. This is actually very good security prevention or security measure, because if you are a web developer and watching this video, then think of this as like 90% of the script they won't go far from this. Alright, but now what we need to understand is that we can still brute force it. What we will need to do, we will need to first log in, do a brute force, and then again log in, do a brute force, right? We will need to do kind of like that. And the problem we have now is what I am thinking, what if on each login password 2FA code is getting reset, right? It is changing. So if that's the case, then this lab is very hard to do. Like, I am not sure how we can brute force that particular thing, but let's just check it first. All right, let's just check it first. Do they have provided the our account? No, they don't. They haven't provided our account. So what I would have done is that we would have logged in on our account, and we would have checked by entering wrong 2 to 3 times and see that does the verification code which we are receiving changes or not. But they haven't provided, so we can either enumerate the username and password, but the reason why they probably haven't provided is that the 2FA is not resetting. Alright, that's my guess. Okay, that is my guess, that 2FA is not resetting because they haven't provided the username and password. But if there was, then you should have checked before attempting further. Alright, create an account on whatever the website you are targeting, create an account and always check this, that does the OTP is changing or not, so you don't waste your time brute forcing. Alright, you don't waste your time ahead. So right now I am assuming that that's not the case. So let's just send everything to the burp suite. Okay, what we can do, we can just save in the HTTP history, and we can do that. All right, so it is on the burp suite. Let me just clear my HTTP history first, so we don't mess around. Delete. Okay, delete selected items. Yes, so there is nothing on our history. Now we can try. So Carlos Montoya. Okay, we logged in, and we are sending our 2FA code 1234 which is wrong. Okay, and again 1 2 3 4, and we are back to our login page. All right, so what we need to do, we will need to create a bot which can, now just think what we need to do. All right, I am not good at making animations, so I will just use words and you should try imagining in your head. So first we will log in, then we will enter the 2FA code, right, and then we will go back to the login. So we will need to make a bot of entire process which we did, right? So it is going to be very slow brute force, because first we are login, then we are adding the brute force, our whatever the sequence of code which payload which are setting there, it will be go there, and then we go again, right? So that's kind of thing we will need to do. Okay, let's just check the request. This is the poster. What is it? We sent the Carlos and Montoya. We logged in. Yes, we logged in, and then we have this page, which is, what is this page? Okay, 2FA code, right? This is Academy Lab header. We don't need this. And then we have this. Okay, we send our invalid security code. But now here is CSRF, right? This is where the problem comes. So because of this, if this is changing, let's just say yeah it is changing actually. Here it is, log into. Okay, so it is changing, that's the problem. Otherwise we would have just copied this request, right, and we would have just simply brute force it here directly. If the CSRF wasn't changing, then we would have just brute forced it directly, and maybe we would have done something else. So let me just try again everything. All right, the reason why is that I don't know where the CSRF is generated, so we will need to do everything again. Control A, delete. And the reason why I am going this way is that you can understand each and everything by how I am approaching this problem. Well, everyone will have a different approach, but I am just giving you the beginner level understanding or step-by-step guide to this lab. All right, so let's send to the burp suite, and let's click on my account again, because the previous time there was no request to the my account, and maybe that is when this login page is fetched, right? I need to fetch this login page, and then we will have CSRF. Maybe that's when it is generating. So let me just try Carlos Montoya login. Okay, we will do 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, and we are back. All right, so we will need to do this bot. We will need to make this bot. Okay, so now let's check our history. Okay, let me just clear up everything. We don't need Academy header, Academy Lab header. So let me just clear up. This is SyncQuest. We don't need that. For Firefox, no. So let me just clear everything. Delete. Where it is? Yes. Okay, so first we got the my account. All right, that is one cookie is there. It is not setting any cookie, otherwise there would have been set cookie word. So that's there. Then login. Okay, so this is the request which is fetching the login, which is getting the login page. All right, we got the login page. Then we send our login, Carlos, and password. All right, then we received this page, and then we send a post request, which is basically we send the 1 2 3 4. So what we will need to do, we will need to make a bot which can get us to here, right, which will give us this page. Okay, and then we will do our brute force using burp intruder or whatever brute forcer you are using. It may be a FF, you can do that also. And in every request, all right, just right now try to understand, we will need to change this CSRF where it is. Yes, we will need to update this, so it will be carry on the continuous that particular request, right? So if we have set the CSRF here, then in the next request it should go the same, right? So let me just create it. Create a bot in the burp suite professional, or sorry, in the burp suite there is option, not a professional, in every burp suite there is the option which we can create a macros. Okay, we can create the macros. So let's just add the macros. What is the macros? Is just the sets of actions which will automatically happen. All right, it's a bot. It's simply a bot. If you are Google Sheet user or Excel user, then you will understand what is the macros. And even if you are a normal tech savvy, then you will also understand what is the macros. So let's just add the macros. Okay, so which request we will need? We will need this one. We will need to fetch the login page first. Let's just render it. Okay, login page. Then we will need this post request where we are adding our Carlos and Montoya. And the good thing about Burp Suite is that it will automatically update this. Okay. Otherwise, if you are going to do it manually, you can use the Python to do that. But why would you do that much code when you have a tool which we can do directly? Unless, of course, you want some extra modification. Till then, we can stick to the Burp Suite. Right, and then we need this page again. What is it? To enter a Burp Suite code, and we don't need this page. Okay, not this page, the post request, because we will be doing this post request from the intruder. Okay, so now think, the request we are sending to the intruder, the page we will be sending to the intruder will be this, right? And from this page, intruder will send the post request. Right after this 1 2 3 continuous request. So let's just do that. So I am selecting these three. I hope you understand how I am approached here and why I did not included this one. Okay, and also why I did not included this one. The reason being is just that 302 found and there is nothing to do. All right, there is actually nothing to do. So let's just 1 2 3. Okay, so we have this. All right. And if we run a macro, then we should receive the same status code and the same web page. All right, let me just set it to the render and let's test the macro. So status code. Okay, so we have generated new CSRF token and it is automatically assigned here. That is the good thing about the Burp Suite macros, right? Okay, so we can just say okay, and that's there. Now we created the bot. Now we will need to create the rule by which our intruder should, we will need to specify that our intruder must receive this macro, or first run a macro, then get the intruder to request, then again run the macro. I hope you understand what I am saying here. Alright, so let's just add the rule, rule 1, alright, that's fine. Add, what is going to be the action is going to be run a macro, right, because that's what we created. So I am selecting this one. What is it? Update all parameters and header, no, okay. Tolerate URL mismatching, use for URL, no, we don't need that. Then update or accept, no, okay. So this is fine, default setting is fine in our case, okay. Now we need to define a scope. So that is already there, the intruder is already there, so we don't need to worry about that. Use custom scope. Well, okay, include all URLs, that is also fine. You can use custom scope, but include all URLs, that's fine. Alright, so we have this setup. Now what will happen is that, as you can see, the rule is going to be applied to the intruder, repeater, sequencers, target scanner. Alright, you should have all probably used only specific like this. Just we only need to intruder, but it doesn't matter. Let's just set everything there as it is. Okay, now let's go back. Now we will just send this request to the intruder, and we are going to do a brute force. The problem I have is that I am really hoping that the reset password is not, the 2FA is not getting resetted, right? I am really hoping that, because if it is resetting, then we would be wasting lot of time and it would have been, it is not going to work, right? Because we are not going to see an error at all, because our macro is going to run, and then of course there is going to be a new OTP, and then we will add our brute force. So it is going to take a very long time, and of course we cannot set concurrent request more, because then it will just there is chances that before the first request is actually completed, the second one goes there, and we will get the 400 error. So we have here what we need to brute force is this. So we can just set add, and we can, the good thing also, another thing about this lab is that we are using only 4-character OTP, and that is also only a digit. So we only need to try 10,000, right? On the resource pool, I really don't want to use 10 concurrent requests. We will need to use only one. All right, we cannot use more than that. Okay, so that's fine. In the setting, let's just also grab the error code so we can monitor everything. Okay, it is already fetched it. That's very good. Invalid security code. Okay, extract. Okay, so everything is set up, right? Yeah, so let's just start the attack. So on the first we got the error because we were using the previous CSRF, but now we are not receiving that. So it is working very good, right? We are not having any kind of error, and we are also not getting the invalid CSRF token code, incorrect security code. All right. Now the problem I have is that we can only send one request per time, so it is going to take very long, and if the password is getting resetted, then there is very less probability that we will hit actual OTP. Yeah, and if that's the case in real life, then it is very hard to hack. All right, it is very hard to hack if that's the case. We will need to find another vulnerability, not a brute force. Okay, so I am just running this, and 47, 48. Guys, you can skip this part to like around 1 minute, because I am not going to edit anything. Okay, wait, let's just set it to 50. Let's see what happens. This is going to be very slow, right? Let's just set it to 50. This is very slow. Okay, yeah, so we cannot set to the 50. We will need to stick to the 1. What happens with the 10? Yeah, same. So yeah, of course we will need to stick to the 1. Let's start the attack. Okay. It is going to take very long. So the intruder is working. I am just checking the request. Is there any way we can do that? We should have checked the first, the reset password is as the 2FA is changing or not. We should have checked that first, but it is on my assumption that they haven't provided the winner Peter. That means that 2FA is not changing, and even if we enumerate the user, there is not going to be an email client, so that way we will not be able to receive the code and we won't be able to verify, right? So that would have also been a time waste if we would have tried to guess the username and the password. Okay, so it is resetting. As the verification code will reset while you are running your attack, you may need to repeat this attack several times before you succeed. This is because the new code may be a number that your current intruder attack has already attempted. Yes, I can understand that. Yep, it is resetting, so this is okay. Guys, you can skip the part because it is going to take very long to complete this, because we are at right now 130 request. let me start another intruder attack. Where it is? Yes, it is here. And rather than in this payload, the brute force, no, in burp suite official list there is no 4-digit character. What I was thinking is that just stop the brute force and do a brute force with the passwords which burp suite provides, the pass list, and there are numbers in the pass list I have observed, so there may be a code from that, but let's just continue this. And if you know any better way to do this, like if there is any faster way, you can suggest me in the comments. I would try to consider that. Nope. Okay. Okay, now we are receiving 400, so that's a very big problem. Missing parameter. Invalid CSRF token. Session does not contain the CSRF. Session does not contain the CSRF token. What just happened there? No, it is working. Yeah, do not mess when running an intruder, right? Yeah. So in 3 requests when I was, okay, let me just see why does that happen. 444. Here we have 6420. Okay, no problem. And this is our blank code, right? So video is actually going to be very small, but I really don't like editing. So if you are one of those who is still watching that, that's very good. I really don't like editing, because what happens is that when I add this, see, I am using simple screen recorder, right? And it is giving me a very compressed file. Even if there is a 1 hour long video, the file size is going to be 80 MB or maybe 100 MB, right? Not more than that. So that is very good size for data saving. I can just upload it directly, and the quality is HD. My voice quality is very low. There is a lot of noise because I am in the basement, and also I am using the hands-free, right? So the reason why I don't edit it is that as soon as I add into the any kind of editor, to even denoise it, the file size gets to the 2 GB, 3 or 4 gigabits, and it just increased like crazy. Okay, to get this same quality right now you are watching, to get this same quality, the size goes to the 10 gigabits, 15 gigabits, and then again I will need to compress that, and in compression the size, the resolution gets very low. So that's why I don't actually edit any kind of videos. I don't touch it. I think this is not going to work at all. We are at 406, 407. and if the OTP is reset, then it is going to the 10,000 seconds divided by 60 goes 6,006 divided by 1,000. 100 means 10 seconds. Okay, I cannot do mental math. Okay, so man, that is very bad. Nearly 3 hours, and that is also we will need to run again, right? So I am keeping the attack on and going for a coffee. Yeah, I cannot sit in silence and watch the screen. Alright, we are at 650. I think this is not going to work at all. Well, if you're one of those who is still watching, then I think you can listen to me speaking shit. In the next video, I have decided that I will start in the Hindi, because in YouTube analytics I saw that a lot of Indian people are watching my videos, right? And I am also Indian, so I am actually good at, or like a moderate at the Hindi, but I am actually moderated on the all language. Alright, language is not my thing. I am not good at that, but in Hindi I think the video idea is very good. So today I will make this list, this playlist again in Hindi, so the Indian viewers may get more. So I may get the more Indian viewers. And I also need to do that the OSINT for the guessing the password, so I can also make that video, but that will take a lot of time. And I am not good at talking alone, right? This is getting crazy. I don't know what to speak, but if you are interested in my story, then yeah, I can talk about that. Well, I am actually a clinical pharmacist. I am a PharmD, and I am somewhat I collected knowledge from different fields. A little knowledge. I am not good at anything. I am just beginner on the all fields, including the programming. I anything I just learn it, right? It's like that. So I am actually a pharmacist, PharmD, and what is our purpose is that we check for the drugs, right? We are like drug lords. In very simple term, we are like a drug lords. We know everything about the particular drug, and if we don't know, then even if we just simply Google, we will get the more information about the drug and what are potential side effects, how drug is working, can you combine this drug with other drug, or how you can use that particular drug in any disease, or maybe if this particular patient does this patient need this drug, what will be the dose for this particular patient. So that kind of thing we can do in the PharmD. We do in the PharmD, right? I also did chemistry for a bit, but chemistry is not my thing. I guess I understand the chemistry. No, sorry, I don't understand the chemistry. I just understand in the theory, on the paper I understand that this is going to work and this maybe don't work, but when I go for the practical, I always do DIY shit. I always make my instrument manually, and that always fucks up, right? Doing chemistry in the low budget is a very bad idea. I once blasted my sink. That was a very big problem. Yeah, and I also did little bit of machine learning, in which I studied mathematics for that particular. I just studied mathematics just for the machine learning part, and did not learn much. It was actually pretty complicated to learn mathematics. It was linear algebra, linear regression. The regression statistic. I actually studied the regression, the statistic, and then I was also watching the 3B 1B videos about the calculus. But it was very hard for me to just comprehend that, because it would have taken very long time, and I am in a week I get new hobby, right? If there is a 1 week and I find a new field from which I want to study, a new thing, today I want to do maybe I want to play a cricket. I never played a cricket before. I just saw that, okay, cricket looks good, let's just play it. So that way, if anything takes long, I just skip it. That is also a very big problem. And right now I started this pen testing series, and I used to do these videos before, but I got banned from the YouTube previously, and also because of which I stopped. It was in 2016 when I had a very good views and very good videos, pretty good channel I had, but then I stopped it because of the YouTube strike, that I cannot show particular thing. I cannot show the cyber security, some sort of YouTube has that strike, so I got that and I just stopped the YouTube channel also, and now I am starting this again. I'm hoping that this series will get more views, like, because I am using this kind of like Portugal lab, so I'm also not showing something illegal, and at the same time I'm showing something illegal, so that's actually pretty good. And in this video, like for 2FA, I am thinking that I will make my own website in which you guys can practice the 2FA bypassing, because I am not finding good scenarios, like I am not finding the websites where they create a lab environment other than the Portugal. Like Portugal has very good environment for 2FA. These 3 lab are actually pretty good. The first one was like very basic, but it just shows that there is this vulnerability that anyone can just go to the other page, the static 2FA page, that's there. And the second lab was like, oh yeah, see, in this second lab I did a very big mistake in the second video. If you have watched my second video on 2FA, I actually guessed the password for Carlos, right? It was, what was the password? 112233. Yeah, that was the password we received. But in actual lab description, they did not provide the password, right? They did not provide the password list. So I used the default default Portswigger password list which they provided in the earlier other labs, and that way I found out this is the password, and then we brute forced the 2FA. But in real life, but when I watched the community video, or I watched the solution in which they actually bypassed the entire Carlos login directly without brute forcing. What they did was, okay, let me just show you that. If attack is going to keep running, let me just show you that. Yeah, simple bypass, and then we have broken logic, right? So let me just show you that. So what they did is this. They actually, I will need to show you the request directly. Let me just show that also. But if we keep 2 lab, I don't know. If we start that lab, then this lab may be resetted, and if that happens, then we will get 400 here. So in general, what happened when we logged in as a winner, right? We changed to verify winner to the Carlos, right? We generated first the OTP for the Carlos, and then we actually swap our winner and Peter. So it was like using someone else's cookie, using attacker's cookie. That kind of vulnerability was there, right? The third vulnerability from our chart, it was that. So used our winner's cookie, set it to the Carlos, and then we brute force it. So that way they actually bypassed the password login, right? I missed that part very big. I just simply brute forced the password also and also the 2FA, but I shouldn't have done that. So I may re-record that video, but the solution is solution one way or other way, but still that was actually a pretty good way to learn the bypassing 2FA, and that was actually good vulnerability which I missed to explain. That's my problem. That was the problem. So we have 1100 requests in, and still we haven't found the OTP, and it's probably resetted. I'm pretty sure that OTP is resetted. I think going this way, okay, let me just see how they are going. They are going this way. Okay, so I think this is not, let's just use the random payloads, right? This will be very slow. Let me just start attack in another tab. This will be very slow. Okay, random delay, no, delay between, no, just we will need to use this. Let's just set the payload to okay, rather than this, let's just set to the number. We are going to do a random, right? We will do 0 to 9999. This way I think there is more chances that we will find out. Okay, how many? Yeah, that many. Max digit integer, min digit is going to be 4, and minimum fraction 0, right? 0. Okay, so I think this way we will be able to do it very quickly. Okay, resourceful one. Let's start the attack. What happens? Let's see. Okay, 200, yes, 200. That's nice. So we are running two intruder at the same time, right? And I hope we don't get 400 here. No, we are not getting 400 here. Why there is no error or anything like that here? What kind of response we are getting? Hey, this is actually wrong, entirely wrong. This one is actually entirely wrong. Okay, no, I saw the first one, that's why. So why we don't have this? Well, never mind. think I will need to edit this video, right? Like, because this is taking way too long, and I think file size will go crazy as it is. I can just pause, right? I can just pause the recording, but what if the recording don't get, like, afterward it does not merge? Like, the problem I have is that in any kind of Linux screen recorder, okay, we are getting 400, we are getting 400. Okay, why? What happened? Invalid. Okay, invalid. Let's just get 200 again. Now, okay, now we are getting it. There is chances that we may lost our actual OTP because of this 400. Maybe their OTP is from here, but I'm not sure. Yeah, the reason why I'm not pausing is that any kind of Linux screen recorder I use, like even including Kazam, simple screen recorder, Voco screen, as soon as video get long, like 1.5 hour long, then it cannot save it. That is the very big problem. Okay, I found it. We found it. 1584. Fuck yes. Carlos Montoya. So using random was actually a pretty good idea. Okay, invalid CSRF. Fuck. I can just refresh this page. My account. What was the password? What was that? 1584. 1584. Carlos Montoya. 1584. 1584. Login. Oh. So the password is changed. Fuck. Okay, wait. Why would I do that when I can just copy this? Sometimes my brain don't work, you know. Okay, let's just do that. Let's just send to the burp suite and go.